our presentation.
Yay!
Can I get a yes?
Can you hear
Yes,
us?
we can
All
see
right,
it.
I got a thumbs up from Nate.
Okay, thanks. Not
All
my
right.
strong suit. Lisa's helping me.
All right. So you guys all know Cris Young. She's going to teach us about Sell My Home and how you should be using it in so many different facets of your business. So here she goes.
Hi. So one of the things that was sort of a surprise to me is that people weren't using Sell My Home anymore. And partly because we could put it on the market and it could sell quickly and we didn't need the tool. And that doesn't always happen. So all of a sudden, if you haven't used it up front, and then you're using it as a statistic, or you need a price reduction, or you need to show them why their house isn't selling, and you haven't prefaced it up front, then you got to backpedal. So I am here to teach you how to use Sell My Home from the very first meeting so that it can work for you through the whole listing process. Fair?
Excellent.
Okay. All right. So I want every seller to use Sell My Home, but if you're one of those agents who doesn't want the seller to use it, I still think you should set it up for you to use. And so instead of waiting for the seller to activate it, you could ask your office administrator to set it up where it's automatically activated or that I activate it. And Avalon, I'm not sure how you and I did that, but have that going, but Sherry and I had mine automatically activated because I need to see the data, and I need to see the benchmarks regardless of whether I want it to auto go to them. So I'm encouraging you to everybody set it up regardless whether you want it to auto send to your seller.
Yep. And the biggest thing here is that you know, what they want is you to sell their house, but they need to know you're working for them. And so often we forget what to say. Like we forget what to say. This has a bazillion conversations wrapped up in one little tool. And so Cris is going to kind of go through some of that, but she's going to first show you like, how do you even get to Sell My Home?
Yeah, so most people didn't know when I asked them. So if you go to ProKit, and you're on my dashboard and you see Lisa did her cute circling of it because she's so tech savvy. And then in your dashboard, you'll have your client, and actually we skipping a little step there down where you put like where all your clients' names are. You got to click on the client. So this one is Donald McKay.
So we would just click this little box next to Donald when you have all of your list of all your people. And remember, this is only going to work for sellers. It's not going to work for buyers because sellers are the only ones that have Sell My Home. And so if you click on the little dot here, then it will open up to this tab. And then you can see that Sell My Home is right here.
Yep, with the MLS number right under it. So you would click on that, and then it would bring you to this page. And it's actually not just one page, it's many pages. So when I talk to people about benchmarks and statistics and what they mean, I need them to understand what we're going to interpret. Okay, we have these goals. So at my listing appointment, I say, okay, if we have 10 showings and no offers, we've got potentially a problem. If it's been 10 days and we haven't had 10 showings, we've got a problem. But then in addition to that, if you look on here where it says the pages viewed, whose listing is this?
Greg Schleen's.
Okay, is it still active?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So Greg Schlien has this house, and partly because it's on its lake shore, has had 90,000 appearances. Okay, that's obscene. And of the appearances, only 1,687 people viewed the page. Why? And
That's why.
Because it started too high.
It started $100,000 too high.
Yeah, and it sort of surprises me that it's not gone now, because 800,000 doesn't seem bad for that lake. But if your page views, the 1687, isn't at least 25% of the appearances, especially in that first 2 weeks, you have a big problem, because that means of the 90,000 times it was sent to people, only 1,687 bothered to look at the actual listing, open it. So they found things that they liked better at a lower price because it comes in usually the lowest price and then you go up. So that's a massive benchmark. So people would say to me when I teach them the benchmarks we're looking for at that listing appointment when we're signing, I say, okay, this is what we need to be paying attention to. They'll call me and say, our numbers are off. We've got a price reduce. And I'm not doing that dirty work of begging for the price reduction. They're watching it because when I say to them, we can price your house to whatever you want, but if you don't respond to the market, it's not me hurting you, it's you hurting you. You can hurt your bottom line and get less than you deserve. So it is important to understand what these statistics mean and how to watch them. Now, this person also has, this listing has 2 favorites. Now, we don't know who they are. That's where I would cross over to reverse prospecting. Didn't Nate teach that last week?
I did.
Oh, you did? Awesome. I would go right away from there and go into reverse prospecting and see who's hearted it, who's saved it, that kind of thing. But we have 2 people watching it. Then he's had 4 open houses, so that's where you could list those. And then this one has 0 people have matched in a saved search, which is, there's something wrong there.
He uses MLS instead of the KV Core for his save searches.
Okay.
So that's why.
So that's why that's showing up as 0. But are you able to go to other next screen down of this? So in addition though, so that's basic information. There is a whole bunch of other things that come in this tool.
Well, let's just chit chat.
We'll keep going. So in that Sell My Home, it'll give you graphs and data of what's going on with that listing, what days it peaked, when were the showings. There's more data in there and statistics that you can use, but that basic first page, those are your benchmarks. Those are the most important statistics. Those are the benchmarks you can teach them to look for, and this is your pricing tool. You can also email it to them and show them what's been going on. And when we were using Edina Realty feedback, it did auto-populate into this. If you're still using Edina Realty feedback, that's fine. I tend to use the one in showing time, but when you're doing Edina Realty feedback, it will populate in here also. I think it's a good marketing tracker. You can put everything in that you've done, hand enter it if you want to have a one-stop shop for this stuff. But this is a tool to use from the beginning through the whole process, because instead of saying to them, I think you need a price reduction, here's some stats that are going to help you get that price reduction, and maybe the stats will do the work for you without you having to have the conversation.
When's the first time you should mention the word Sell My Home?
I use Sell My Home at my first listing appointment. So I tell them, you're going to get your own website. Only you and I can see it. This website's going to track what's going on out on the internet about your house. So we need to pay attention to, how much demand there is for your house. And this tells you, okay, if it got included in 90,000 searches, we know there's demand. People are looking, but they didn't like what they saw enough to open it.
Yep.
So I use it from day one. Then I love to show the favorites, and then I also talk about reverse prospecting. So there are a lot of people, even in your own company, who have all these tools, but whether they use them or not is the difference maker. And I like to go there and show, I am going to use these tools to make sure we don't damage your listing. In the world, my phone keeps going.
She's a busy lady.
Yep.
But this is the other thing is like, so we already talked about the statistics and benchmarkers. So it really will have the work taken off about pricing off of yours plate of getting those price reductions. But then the pricing tool also helps because in those first few days, you can really see a lot.
You can really see a lot, and they can see it without you like trying to hammer on them. You can just politely send it to them, they can log in and look at it. It's doing the work for you.
Yep. All right. And what did you mean by marketing tracking?
Well, it's tracking those open houses. It's tracking that it's being sent out to people. It's there in, if you look at the further down pages of Sell My Home, and I really encourage you to get in there, it shows you, days that it peaked, days that the showings were scheduled on. You can see if they were near the price reduction, that kind of thing. Can you show up?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay. We're gonna pull up one that's, maybe we can show that one.
This is not. No.
Don't show
Okay.
that.
I've got too many tabs open. Is this?
Go to my agents, just pull somebody.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Just,
Yeah.
do you have one of your own?
No, I don't
Okay.
have anything.
You don't have anything, Sell My Home.
No.
So in that, know that there's way more data than just that front screen. If you scroll the whole thing, it's a 4-page report. So every month or every week, you can send that report out to your seller. Say, here's what happened this week. So it is a super good tool. It's just you need to use it. We ignore it. You need to use it from the beginning so that if you're in the situation or the market starts to change a little bit and we need it, it isn't all of a sudden new. This is our tool to watch what's really happening out there on the internet.
Yep. And if you're sitting here going, I have no idea if I even use this. Yeah, I have them set up on that, home docs thing. Is that working as a Sell My Home? Talk to your OA and she'll be able to tell you if your houses are being set up for Sell My Home. She'll also be able to tell you if they've logged in and you're like unsure that they've done this. So very huge moment is to constantly watch that Sell My Home and those tools.
Yeah. So I had a builder who never would log in and activate it. And so we just activated it for him because I need to see this data regardless of whether he wants to. And that's why I believe in, at least my listings, I want it auto activated and not just to the seller's choice. They don't want to look at it or you don't want it to automatically go to them. That's fine. But I think it's important you look at it.
And I also hope you guys can still see my screen, but another place that you can get to it fast and easy is you could put a seller's name and address up here and go into this active seller tools, and you can go right down to Sell My Home report. And in that Sell My Home report will show you all kinds of things.
I've never done that.
Well, I don't have
You don't have
a name or an address, so I can't just do that quickly. But anyways, you guys can with your listings, you can just easily go down there and see all of these things that are available and go into that Sell My Home report for right on your dashboard.
Absolutely. It's there for you. You're going to need it, especially as pricing can get bobbly at times. We have stuff that's flying off the market, and then we have other things that just sit, and you can't just go to them with, well, I think it's too high. You need to sometimes prove it. And this is a good way to prove it with data.
Excellent.
Great.
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
It's Nate from White Bear Lake, longtime listener, first time caller. What was the ratio that we should have? I missed that.
25%.
Okay. Thank you.
If you don't have at least a fourth of the people bothering to open it up, there's a problem.
You're missing the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good stat.
Good concept, Nate. Like if you looked at my ones that I had put on at Lake Owasso, so you recall those because you were my manager at the time, and I had them at $2 million. Well, at $2 million, I was getting, I was 50,000 in saved searches and only 1,000 people looking at it. And then when I changed the price down to $1.7 million, man, did it change. And then when I did one at $1.4 million, my data came in right.
Okay.
Then I started really, I was with the meat of the market at that point.
That speaks volumes. I love that stat because that's one that your sellers can monitor. Like you said, you lead
Yep.
them to
Mhm.
water and then they call you and say, we're missing something.
Yeah, so we have somebody right now at 54 showings in the first weekend. Didn't get really anything over list price. House is distressed a little bit. And that wasn't enough data for her. And so she wanted to start over. And it's like, well, had we used some of this data up front, we maybe would have had more to say than just you've had 54 showings and you only got 3 offers.
Yep. Anybody else have any questions? All right, excellent. Well, you guys have a great day. Thank you, Cris, for doing an excellent job at Tech Tip. I told her we're going to get her to love this. So, all right, tune in next week.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Have a
tip.
good Memorial Day weekend.
Peace